Everyone on the island of Sodor knows that wherever Thomas goes, Annie and Clarabel go too. The three engines are inseparable. They love running up and down the branch line, singing songs to each other, and wouldn't trade it for anything. On the main line, change was afoot. Sir Topham Hatt was testing a new stopping service. Rather than changing trains, passengers wishing to travel on the branch lines were designated certain coaches. At the junction, the coaches were uncoupled and added to the branch line train. The passengers enjoyed the convenience. Thomas, meanwhile, enjoyed the attention.
It's only natural the Fat Controller would give me more responsibility.
He boasted to Henry one day.
You do realize he runs the same service on Edward's branch, don't you?
Asked Henry. Thomas wasn't listening. He coupled his coaches to Annie and Clarabel and hurried away. The other coaches remembered Thomas from his days as station pilot. Soon they were telling him about their journeys along the main line. Annie and Clarabel wanted to sing more songs, but Thomas was too enthralled in the other coaches to notice. Later, Thomas shunted the coaches to the carriage shed, then stopped for a rest. As he slept, Annie and Clarabel conversed.
Why don't we have any stories to tell? We do. Only they're all about Thomas. Going fishing, losing our guard, racing Bertie. Wonderful stories, mind you, but we're merely along for the ride. It would be nice to go on the main line again. Who knows what we'll see nowadays?
At that moment, Thomas awoke.
So I'm not good enough anymore? Is that it? What nonsense! You're not fit for the main line nowadays.
Annie meant to tell Clarabel they weren't fit for the main line anymore, but Thomas's words infuriated her.
We're quite fit, thank you. Besides, it would be nice to go with other engines. Perhaps they won't ignore us.
Thomas was shocked.
Well then fine! I'll just take other coaches instead.
The next day, Annie and Clarabel were added to James's stopping service, and Thomas used two of the old coaches. They said nothing to each other as they left the junction. At first, things went well. Thomas felt pleased.
Do come along, we shan't be late. Do come along.
We won't be late. If you focused on the line and stopped that wretched singing,
grumbled the first coach. As they approached Terrence's field, Thomas whistled gaily to the tractor. Not long after, Bertie rolled past, and Thomas whistled again.
For goodness sake, how many whistleblows are there on this branch line?
I was only whistling hello.
Thomas cried.
Not time for those sort of pleasantries on the main line. Not when there's a timetable to keep.
Thomas's heart sank. This wasn't what he'd expected at all. He was miserable for the rest of the day. He didn't want to admit it, but he missed Annie and Clarabel dreadfully. At the end of the day, Thomas was at the junction with his last train. He was having a drink and feeling quite down, when Henry fussed in.
Well, Thomas, you wanted more responsibility. Be a responsible engine and take these coaches back.
Thomas looked up. At the rear of Henry's train were Annie and Clarabel.
Silly things haven't stopped singing all day. Do come along or you'll be late. I've been on time all day, thank you.
Thomas couldn't help but laugh. At once, he coupled the old coaches to Henry's train and took Annie and Clarabel away. Henry huffed off indignantly.
I'm sorry, you two. I shouldn't have been so rude. My day has been
dreadful. Ours too. We missed you dearly. Those mainline engines treated us awfully. Some adventure that was.
Disgraceful! They should be so lucky to have you on their trains.
The three friends stopped. Then they laughed. It was good to be together again.